Hello, yogis. My name is Kelly. I am here with Heather. We're going to take you through a Yoga Flow 45. Make sure that you've got anything you need for your class, for props like blocks, straps, towels. Put them at the front of your mat, and let's begin in child's pose. Take the knees wide, press the hips back onto the heels, and bring the forehead down to the earth, arms forward to the front of the mat. Try to surrender. So if a block is needed underneath the hips or underneath the forehead to help you soften a bit, utilize your props. Start to tap into your Ujjayi breath. Big inhales through the nose. Even bigger, louder, longer exhales through the nose. As you tap in and settle into this breath, feel how you are settling into your body and into this moment. Know that anytime throughout this practice you feel like you push too far, feel overwhelmed, or not even sure, you can come right back into this pose until you are ready to rejoin. If it resonates with you to bring your hands into a prayer position in front of the head or over the head, take your Anjali Mudra, seal, or offering and send out your intentions, prayers, mantras to your practice, to your life. Come back to these intentions whenever you need to for inspiration. We meet in tabletop. So rise up to all fours, cat, cow, starting with cow, roll the shoulders back, inhale and look up. Exhale, round and curl, chin to chest, navel to spine, puff up the back. You can tuck the toes under, you can point the feet, you can alternate between the two. Make sure that when you're rounding, you feel the deep contraction in the front of the body to facilitate the stretch, and the same big stretch on the front body, contract the back body and cow. Stick with these or turn it into dancing lion. Free movement stretch, circle the tailbone, the shoulders, the head, the neck. No right or wrong, just move through the sticky parts. Tabletop. Reach your right arm forward. Eye of the needle flow, drag the right arm back, sweep it up, over, and around about 3 times. Use a little bit of momentum with your body to help catapult the arm over. Reverse it back and around. Pull the right shoulder blade onto the back, open through the chest. On your last one, reach it up and twist at the top. Right ribs away from the left. Thread your needle, right arm underneath the left through the hole. You can land on your ear. You can roll to the back of your skull. Keep the head and neck neutral. Yogi's choice to either streamline your bicep by your ear, catch a bind with your arm around the back, or catch a float, or maybe a couple variations here. When you float, supercharge the leg, glute, hamstring, toes. Rewind, and then re-reach, tabletop. Left arm forward, same flow, left side of the body, up and over. When you've done about 3 rounds, reverse it. See if you can find your movement with your breath. Notice the places where you tend to hold on or it gets interrupted. Reach it all the way up at the top and see if you can smooth it out. Thread your needle, take it through, and find your yogi's choices. If you streamline, the right arm goes over. It's a really nice stretch down your lat. If you bind, the arm comes around the back for the hip, thigh, and pulls the top shoulder back. And if you float, engage before you elevate. That's going to be your strength. Rewind and re-reach. Tabletop. Wrist stretches, turn your hands around. You can add on yogi's choices. That goes for the whole class, right? If there's something I'm not offering but you know you want, you can take it. And if there's something I'm doing that doesn't work for you, then leave it out. Treat it like a yoga buffet. Heather's in reverse palm down dog. Notice her head's below the arms. That's the goal one day. And then switch out the wrist stretch. So roll over the top of the hands, wiggle the fingers, create fists, spread the fingers out, bend at the elbows, straighten back out. Find subtle movement. Don't be afraid to explore your body. Move away from imprisonment and allow it to be your playground. Knees, feet together, tuck the toes, sit back on the heels or on a block between your feet and shake it out. Interlace your fingers down to the webbing. Flip the palms inside out in front of you and reach the arms up. Your favorite back bend. Hands behind the head, elbows wide. You can cactus the arms to a 90-degree angle, catch an interlaced fist spine, and pull the fist down the lower back. You can even go for a camel pose if that is in your practice today. We all meet in tabletop. Pat out the feet. Shake out the ankles, circle them out. Tuck your toes under, spread your fingers wide, lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Explore your downward facing dog. If you're walking the dog, bend one knee at a time and pedal each heel down to the floor. Step your feet together. Take your right leg back and up, one-legged dog. Explore here. Open, close, bend, straighten, circle the angle. Work on some mobility exercises. So when we move out the joints, we're working more mobility, very gentle stretching on tendons and ligaments. Round and curl, knee to nose. Shift the weight forward, puff up the back. Take it back, one-legged dog. Flex the foot, inner spiral the thigh. As the toes dial down, you're still picking up the leg using your muscles so you don't dump. Round and curl, knee to nose. Elevate it and step through runner's lunge. Lower the back knee down. Sweep the arms up. Low crescent back bend. You can choose to lift up and back into your back bend. Cactus your arms. Work an interlaced fist spine, or maybe take a supported back bend with the hands situated at the lower back to help lift up off of the lower back. One more breath. Take your hands around to frame your front foot. Half splits, half thunderbolt. So either hips back and up, either sit on your foot, or half hero inside of the foot. Dial the toes up to 12 o'clock. Push the big toe mound forward, pinky toe edge back so you don't sickle your feet. Spread the toes. Inhale, lengthen. If you need blocks under your palms, they're available. Exhale with a flat back, fold up and over. If you start to round, you know you went too far, right? So you just come out of it a little bit, reset yourself, no feelings, final, realign. Shift forward, runner's lunge. Turn your back heel down, cartwheel it open, warrior 2. Settle in, ground the knife edge side of your back foot, the big toe mound, and make sure your right knee is in line with your right toe. External rotation on the right quadricep. 3 pumping warriors. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, warrior 2. As you reach up, feel the strength, feel the lightness, feel the contraction. And as you move into warrior 2, don't lose all of it. You want to move into that eccentric contraction where you're not dumping down into the inner thighs or inner groins, but you're supporting the joints. Flip your palm, reverse it. Take the left hand down the back leg, the right arm up and over by the ear. As you reach back, straighten the front leg. Reverse triangle. Push into your right big toe mound. Zip up your right knee and thigh. Reach the arms out like a T. Take your right toes, pivot them inward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive down. Wide-legged forward bend. Walk it out, wide-legged dog or hammock pose. If you're taking wide-legged dog, lengthen the spine, push the hips back. If you are taking hammock, let your arms move more into a V or wider position, and then melt the heart, maybe the forehead down to the floor. You're creating this big dip in the spine. You can always bend your knees a little bit if you need to. And then reverse it. Take your hands, walk them in, turn them around. If you're looking for more depth in this pose, begin to bring your feet a little closer together. Tuck your chin to your chest, navel to spine. Your core, your abdominal, that crunch is turned on 100%. Traction your arms in. Stretch your back body as you leverage some weight to your toes. Release, inhale, lift and lengthen. Widen the stance if you need to. Walk it around to the front of the mat. Right side, runner's lunge. Plant the palms. Take the right leg back. Plank. Supercharge the plank. Push into the floor. Zip up the quads. And then gently place the knees down. Tabletop. Walk it out. Puppy. Extended puppy or supported puppy. If you need a block, you could try it underneath your chest. That'll take pressure off the neck. You could try it underneath the forehead. Slide all the way through to your tummy. Come onto your elbows and forearms for a Sphinx pose. Anchor down into the tops of your feet and your pelvic triangle. And zip up your quads. You can make this restorative by letting the scapula move together, the head hang heavy. If you're ready to turn this into a seal pose, turn the arms out to a V, thumbs forward, fingers out. Lift your elbows, lift your head. And release, lower down. Place the hands underneath your shoulders as we prepare for Cobra pose. Legs can come completely together or widen them just a little wider than hip distance if you have anything going on in your lower lumbar. Exhale, and on your inhale, lift the chest. Press down into the tops of the feet, thighs. Once again, that pelvic triangle. Peel your chest, your face away from the ground, maybe even the hands away from the ground as you strengthen the posterior chain of your body, especially your lower lumbar here. And release. Lower down. If you need a little movement here, find a little movement. We got a Yogi's Choice Cobra. If you're with me, take a lifted Cobra. Walk your hands back to frame your ribs. Separate your knees a little wider than your hips. Inhale, root to rise. Little bend in the elbows. Keep the shoulders back. Chest pushing through the arms. Glutes are fired up. Quads are fired up. And release. Lower down. Press it back. Child's pose. You can bring your knees together. Hips to heels, arms back by the sides. If that doesn't work, you could take the knees apart. Sometimes when we bring the knees together, the hips don't get as far to the heels. That is completely normal. As long as you don't feel pain in your knees or your joints and you feel that stretch on the back, you're in a good place. Come up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Take the feet together and the left leg back and up. One-legged dog, explore. Again, you can bend and straighten at the knee, circle out the hip or ankle joints, and find some mobility. Feel your body. Hold gratitude that you get to move your body because it's a privilege. Round and curl, knee to nose. Shift the weight forward, puff up the back, round, round, round. One-legged dog, square the hip and elevate. Inner spiral. Knee to nose. Again, round and curl. Puff up the back, step through. Runner's lunge to low crescent, right knee down. Sweep the arms up. Take your favorite back bend. Arms by the ears, cactus, interlace with spine, supported back bends. If you're not sure, try, explore until you figure it out. Hands frame your front foot. Yogi's Choice, half splits, half thunderbolt. or half hero. Hands underneath the blocks are a great way to make some space with the body. You always want to lengthen the spine and inhale to prepare, like you're gassing up your tank, and then the exhale, you make your move. When your body lets go and it surrenders. Shift forward, runner's lunge. Spin the back heel down, cartwheel open, warrior two. You might find yourself heel to heel or heel to arch. This is very depending on your personal anatomy. Just make sure your left knee pushes back and doesn't bow inside or dump inside of the left big toe. 3 pumping warriors. The knee is a hinge joint, so it bends this way and then it goes forward, but it shouldn't twist in, right side of the leg. Try to keep your hips level. As a reminder, the right hip does have a tendency to hike up on us on the way down. So see if you can keep them just as level as they are on the way up. Pretend there's magnets on your feet. Feel that traction towards one another. Flip your palm and reverse it. Stay reaching back. Straighten the left leg. Push into the left big toe mound. Zip up the quad. Continue to reach to the back wall on that big side stretch. And then bring your arms out to parallel. We're going to take a shoulder stretch here. So if you need a towel or strap, go ahead and grab it now. Pick up your left toes, spin them in. Reach the arms behind you, interlace the fingers, or create some space with a towel or strap. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Exhale, hip hinge. So if you need to, in order to keep that flat back, bend the knees. If you don't need to bend the knees and you come with a flat back, great. If you need to bend the knees, great. Make sure that you're not trying to fit your body into somebody else's box, but you're working with a body you have right now, right here. Let the head go. Let the arms fall. Stay low. Release your bind. Inhale, lengthen. Find a peace sign grip on your big toes or grab the outer edges of the feet. Pull and fold. Elbows out to the side. Shoulders away from the ears. Pull the quads up as you lift up through the backs of the hips and thighs. Your legs don't have to be straight for you to engage your quads. Your quads are what safely open the backs of the legs. One more breath. Release. Inhale, lengthen. Yogi's choice, either stay with me, wide-legged twist, left hand center, right arm up, or take any other variations that you're craving. If you bind in your twist, wrap your right arm around your back. If you like to double bind, left hand to the right ankle, lengthen twist. If you like to revolve the bind, you go underneath the left arm through the hole. A lot of shoulder there. Other side. Right hand center. Left arm up. Try to keep your hips level. Bind if you bind. Doesn't mean they're going to stay level. The main purpose, double, reverse it if you reverse it, is that, or revolve it if you revolve it, you're not dumping into your inner groin. So you just want to feel your lift, your space. Release, let it go. Let's all meet back and wide-legged forward bend. Inhale, lengthen. Walk it around to the top of the mat. Left side runner's lunge. Step back, plank. Shift forward, bend your elbows, chaturanga. Hover over the floor. Point your feet, upward facing dog. So in up dog, different than cobra, we're going to hold this a couple of breaths. Your knees and thighs are lifting as your hips stay low and your shoulders stay back. Take one more inhale, push back, downward dog. Nice hold, breathe. Chances are we need a lot of up dogs because of our spine being in a constant posterior or rounding forward rotation, the way we sit, the way we stand, so much of what we do, texting, typing. So try not to cheat yourself out of those up dogs. Take the gaze forward. You can fire walk, jump, or float all the way up to the top of the mat. Forward bend. Hang heavy. Ragdoll it up. 1 vertebrae at a time. When you reach the top, stand tall and stand proud. Standing deep side stretch. Inhale, reach the arms up. Right hand grabs the left wrist. Lift up and over to the right. Slide your hips to the left. Squeeze the right side body. Push the hips to the left side. And inhale, bring it back to center. Switch it out. If you don't sway your hips to the side, you'll get stuck. So it's this simultaneous action. As much as you go to one side, you push to the other. Inhale, bring it back to center, standing or supported back bend. If you're taking the supported back bend, place the hands at the lower back, lift the chest up to help you curl back. Eventually taking your eye gaze towards the back wall. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, forward bend. Bring your feet together to touch. Toes, heels together. Sit low, reach high, chair. Squeeze the knees, thighs, and ankles together. Half chair. Widen the seat back, hinge the belly forward, keep the chest up, biceps by the ears, or bring your hands to prayer at heart center. Floating chair, lift your heels, squeeze tightly through the inner ankles, stack your heels over the toe mounds. Forward bend, hands down, hips up, let it go. Yogi squat, begin to separate your feet out about the width of your mat. This is relative, toes out, heels in. If the heels won't stay down, try widening your feet further apart. Try sitting on a block. Bring your elbows into your knees, your hands into prayer at heart center when you're ready for that, and open your chest. Stay here for about 5 more breaths, or explore your crow or crane pose. If you're working crow, plant the palms, work the knees up on the underarm, squeeze the feet towards the seat. The main difference here is if you're moving into crane, the weight's gonna have to shift forward. Look at that lift, so good. Deep round curl, deep abdominal crunch, and eventually the arms straighten. Wherever you're at, bring your palms down. Walk, jump, or float back, chaturanga. Take your vinyasa. You might put the knees down and keep it simple. You might float and fly and make it spicy. Whatever you need today, down dog is where we meet. Take the right leg back and up, one-legged dog. Step by the right thumb, warrior 1, spin the back foot 45 degrees and reach up. Now, rather than just jamming your left hip forward to the right, inner spiral the thigh to start turning the hips and the rib cage forward. There's a little twist there. Nice, Heather. It's all in those tiny little adjustments where it is at. Warrior 2, you might need to adjust the footing here and line up your feet. Get into the position. Side angle. Tilt. Left arm over right. You're tilting your upper body over the right thigh. Stay or play. We have Yogi's choices. One of the beautiful things about Yoga Join is that we have this foundational flows in which we all get to yoke, unite, come together, the root of yoga, but we also have the freedom of expression and what we need each day. So half binds, full binds, bird of paradise, bound standing splits. If you're staying in your bind, can you pull your left shoulder back and spin your heart and your gaze up? Nice. We meet. Take your time if you are playing in right side lizard. Heel toe the right foot off to the side. You can stay on your palms, lower down to the elbows and forearms, or come onto some blocks under the forearms or under the forehead. Stay or play. Yogi's choices. So you can go for an arm balance. You can go for an inversion. We have scissors arm balance, headstands, forearm stands, handstands. If you are playing, let's all begin to meet back in lizard and take a deep quad stretch. Reach around, right hand to the left foot, squeeze the heel towards the hip. Melt the hips towards the floor. Heel toe the right foot to the midline. Take your right hand, cup it behind your heel. Tuck your back toes under. Launch and lift out to standing splits. Eventually, you'll add the left hand and elbow behind the calf. The key is to get the right elbow around first. Pull up the leg really strong, belly in, and focus on one fixed point. Seated twist. Tuck the left knee behind the right. Have a seat. Reach the left arm up and over. Hook the elbow outside of the knee. Plant the right hand behind the base of the spine and lift and push the chest up. Pull the belly in, twist back. Left ribs forward, right ribs back. You can keep your left hand up. If you can't get your elbow outside of the knee, you can wrap your arm around like a hug. You can also take a bind, reaching through the hole and wrapping around, clasping your hands. Counter twist. Straddle or frog facing the right side of your mat. So you can either take your legs out, creating a V shape or a middle split shape, and walk it down the midline, or you can create those 290-degree angles in frog pose. You can use blocks here to help keep your spine long. You want to be able to fold forward, eventually get the tummy to hit before the chest. So it's going to take you to first to get off the tailbone. If you find yourself rounding your back, don't fold forward yet. Prop the hands behind you, lift the chest up, and first work on getting that rotation in the pelvis. Lift the chest, bring both legs forward to the front of the mat, seated staff, shake it out. Half or full boat. Bend the knees into the chest for half boat. You can hold on to the knees, or you can have the arms extended like Heather's got. You can straighten the legs out, full boat. Again, arms up, or you can grab behind the thighs until you're ready to release them. Vinyasa, walk, jump, cross at the ankles, float it through. Do what you do or what you don't do. Don't overanalyze it. Take what you need, leave what you don't. We meet in downward facing dog. Take the left leg back and up. Warrior one. Arms up by the ears. Know that not everybody's hips are supposed to get square. Just feel the action, feel the stretch in the front of your right hip and thigh. Warrior two, adjust the stance with your footing if you need. You've been there before. Side angle, tilts. Stay or play. There is so much to learn within staying And there is so much to learn within playing. It's just what you need today. Again, if you are staying in the bind, whether it's a half bind or a full bind, we're not dumping the chest forward, right? We want to lengthen the spine and spin it upward. Take your time if you're playing. We meet in lizard. Heel toe the foot off to the side. Lower down to the elbows, forearms, find your blocks. Take a moment to first find yourself fixed, firm, and relaxed. So often I see, or I feel even, I do it myself in class, is rushing into the next thing because you know it's coming. Give yourself an opportunity to first steady out your energy, because the way you approach the practice, the pose, or the things in your life, that energy you're putting out is exactly what you're going to get out of it, what you're putting in. So now, if you feel good and you want to play, you're fixed, firm, and relaxed, you're ready to play. Deep quad stretch. So you can stay on your forearm, you can come up to the palm, your left hand meets the right foot eventually. When you get the foot, squeeze the heel towards your seat, and then work the hip forward and down towards the floor. Heel toe the left foot to the midline. Start to rock and roll forward. If that bind didn't work for you, that's okay too. You can walk your hands out in a wider position. Launch and lift, standing splits. The bind is really going to help you getting closer. Your bottom leg can actually be bent, and you work it straighter and straighter. The top leg, however, you really need to reach it up. It's your power here. It's your lightness here. We meet in seated twist. Tuck the right knee behind the left. Have a seat. Reach the right arm up and over. Hook it. Bring the left hand at the base of the spine. Help it lift your chest up. Again, if you can't hook the elbow, wrap your arm around and give yourself a hug. If you can bind, go for it. An outside bind is a lot, especially for the IT band psoas, but it's so good if you can get into it. Counter twist to the right. Just right to seated staff, bring both legs forward. All right, sit back, bend your knees in towards your chest, and hook your big toes. Find your balance on your sit bones, and then take the legs out and up into a V shape. So wide-legged, upward, forward bend. Nice. Super normal if you fall back in this. You just get back up, play around with it, have some fun. Bring your legs together. Upward, forward bend. Half or full boat, release the arms. Walk, jump, float it through vinyasa. So good, that series for strengthening your core, and you want to strengthen your core because yoga really focuses on it. It's your posture, it houses your spine. Walk, jump, or float all the way up to the top of the mat. Forward bend. Standing hand to big toe pose. Peace sign grip on the right big toe. Press down to rise up. If that doesn't work for you, start from stand. Bend the knee, hook the toe, extend it. You can stay here. You could take a yogi's choice. If you wanted to do a different pose, you can take it. You can exalt. Dancing Shiva. We all meet in tree. Place the right foot on the inside of the left thigh or on top of the hip. One hand, both hands to heart center. If you grow your tree, extend your arms up. If you like to add on, add on. And then release. mountain pose. So if you started from stand, you're there. Otherwise, you might need to come into a forward bend to initiate your hand to big toe pose. It's a standing pose, yogi's choice. So you can stay with me in the standing hand to big toe pose. You can move into dancing Shiva, even a standing bow pulling. You could go right to tree if you're not feeling any of it. Tree is not an easy pose either. No balancing pose is easy. Balancing poses afford us the opportunity to unite right and left hemispheres of the brain. This helps us get into flow state. So out of over analytical, out of over emotional, and here to work to focus. Release, mountain pose. Inhale, reach up. Back bend if you take it. Forward bend, up and over. Inhale, lengthen. Walk, jump, or float back. Vinyasa. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. If you need blocks under your palms to help you create more space to make your body through, I love that. If you don't, I love that. Look out past your mat, bring your feet together, walk, jump, or float all the way through seated staff. Nice. Legs out in front of you. That is not easy, people. Oh my gosh, one more time. Half or full boat, knees to chest, arms up. You're going to have abs of steel today. Low boat. I'm not going to keep you here long. Come down to the lower back. Wrap the ribs in. Shavasana. Lower all the way down. Let it go. Right side reclining one-legged pigeon. Place your feet flat. Cross your right ankle over your left knee and then reach your right hand through the hole. Interlace behind the knee. As you work your right knee, or I should say right hip away from you, you pull your left leg in. If you want to rock it up to double pigeon, you have that option. You guys will stay right here. Release. Shavasana. As we move from the standing now, we're here on the supine or floor series. We're going to start to bring the energy back down. Feet flat, left foot over the right knee. Thread it through. Preparing for the ultimate pose, right? The one at the end of the class. Because chances are sometimes when you get done with the standing flow, you are like, okay, I'm done, ready to walk out. But after you complete some floor poses, you're like, nope, I'm ready to lie here. That's what we want. You can rock it up to double pigeon. Like training ourselves to meditate. Before we meditate, we go, I don't have time to meditate. I got to do this. I got to do that. But then when you take the time to meditate, you get done. You're like, I don't have to do anything. Shavasana. Take the right knee into the chest. On the inhale, hold. On the exhale, pull it in. Belly twist. You have the option to keep it simple. Eagle wrap your legs. Maybe take a reclining dancing Shiva by grabbing the outer edge of your foot and extending the leg. Twist as you look over the right shoulder. Shavasana. Take the left knee into the chest. Belly twist, whatever variation you did on the other side, take it. Complete the twist and look over the left shoulder, or try to. Feel free to close your eyes. Shavasana. Bend both knees into the chest. Happy baby if you take it. Reclining straddle splits if you take it. So you're going to grab the outer edges of the feet, bend the knees outside of the ribs, or hook the big toes and extend the legs out in opposite directions. Try to work the back of your hips towards the floor. We don't force, we don't jam, we just work. Legs up the wall pose, or supported legs up the wall pose, or shoulder stand. So legs at the wall pose are straight up. a support. You take a block underneath the hip, shoulder stand. You're going to grab your back, pike your legs up. One straight line eventually. If you're in shoulder stand, lower your legs to plow, feet past the head, or take a deaf man's pose. So the difference is plow, the sides of the waist are long, deaf man's pose, they round, and the knees come down outside of the ears. Reach your arms back, palms flat, slowly roll out of it. Pull your thighs towards your ribs, pull your navel towards your spine as you lower one vertebrae at a time to Shavasana. Final back bend of choice, bridge, fish, or wheel. Whatever you're doing for your back bends, try to lift up to that middle back, right? If you're taking bridge, feet flat, hips up. If you're taking wheel, palms flat by your ears, lifting all the way up. If you're taking fish like Heather, legs straight, toes point on the elbows, head drops back. To release the pose, push into the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades, chin to chest, and lower down one vertebrae at a time. If there is anything that you need to settle in to your final Shavasana, find it now. You can put blocks under your thighs. You could take a towel underneath the nape of the neck. Supine. Let the feet turn out and let the palms turn up. Close your eyes. Trust that the earth beneath you is going to support you. Let me be the timekeeper, and let yourself go. If it resonates with you, take your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly. Feel the breath rise under the palm and the heart beat underneath the other. It's very easy for us to get caught up in life and what we do have or don't have, or our body does or doesn't, or looks like or doesn't. But just the privilege of having the breath and the heartbeat to experience the life is a privilege. Take a moment to hold some gratitude for your body and for yourself, for having the discipline to get here, to follow through, and to give this gift to yourself. Begin to find some awareness back into your body. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Roll your ankles and your wrists. Reach your arms overhead. Bring your knees into your chest and roll to one side, taking a few breaths there in the fetal position. Slowly begin to press your way up to a comfortable seat. Namaste simply means that the light in me honors and sees and recognizes the light also within you. We are all one. Hands to heart. Namaste. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for stepping on your mat.